Probably seen your fair share of paranormal clips, but what about this? Or this? Believe me when I tell you, this is just the beginning. Today's episode is packed with clips of cryptids and strange phenomena that'll mess with your head. My name is Steve. This is Classified Captures. So tell me something. Are you ready? Well, we better dive in then. Ever since the earthquake that struck Russia, people across the world have been reporting strange and unexplained changes in nature, especially in and around the ocean. One such incident is this one from Chile. A man had been filming the ocean when he noticed strange shapes emerging from the water's surface. The clip you're watching on your screens right now is the very footage he captured. In it, you can see odd round objects rising, resembling human-like heads, and in a few moments you can even make out what looks like shoulders or partial torsos. These figures briefly appear, then quickly dip back below the surface. Some in the paranormal community believe these could be mermaids or aquatic humanoid creatures. They theorize that the earthquake may have disturbed something deep beneath the ocean, forcing these beings out of their usual hiding places. Others say it's possible that a deep-sea cave system may have opened and the creatures emerged. On the other hand, skeptics argue that the video likely shows seals or other marine animals surfacing for air, and that the human-like features are just due to distance and poor resolution. So could the earthquake have stirred up something we weren't meant to see, or our eyes simply playing tricks on us? These days, it might be more important than ever to invest in surveillance cameras because the kind of strange footage people are capturing, well, it's truly unsettling. This particular clip was shared by a woman who had a baby cam set up in a nursery. One morning, she woke up with a motion alert from the camera. Since she was home alone with the baby, she immediately checked the footage, and what she saw left her shaken. As her baby lay peacefully asleep, something unexpected appeared in the frame. From the darkened corner of the room, a hand slowly reaches out, stretching toward the baby. The hand lingers for a moment just inches away from the baby and then quickly retreats into the shadows. The room was dimly lit, making it impossible to see who or what the hand belonged to. There was no sound anywhere else, and nothing else in the footage gave a clear answer. Now, this has of course triggered all kinds of theories online. Some say the hand seemed to come from the wall itself, suggesting a paranormal entity. Others believe it could have come from a window, raising the terrifying possibility of an intruder trying to reach the child. And the fact that the baby didn't react or wake up makes it all the more chilling. Was it a human intruder or something paranormal? In downtown Los Angeles, someone stumbled upon something that left them completely speechless. And it's this so-called alien church. While standing outside filming the unusual building, two men suddenly appeared and invited them inside. Once they stepped through the doors, what they found was anything but ordinary. The place looked like a church, but instead of statues of saints, there were gray alien heads mounted on pillars and a crucifix with an alien figure stretched out on the cross instead of Jesus. They also met this man who showed them artifacts he said held powerful energy. Some, he said, could slow down time. Others were believed to cleanse or revitalize the air around you. And they were priced to up to $1,000 each. It was a mix of sci-fi, New Age mysticism, and cult-like symbolism all in one space in the middle of LA. Does this sound like a place you would walk into? Let us know in the comment section. This woman works as a nurse at a local hospital, and one night during a shift, something strange happened. She was walking to the washroom when she noticed a woman standing nearby, but first, well, she didn't seem like anything was unusual to her, until she realized, well, she didn't recognize the woman. And in a hospital where you're used to seeing the same staff and patients, that kind of felt odd. But what was even stranger was when she came out of the washroom, the woman was completely gone. Now, this hospital has long been rumored to have an abandoned basement that none of the staff go near. Many believe that whatever's been causing these strange sightings might be coming from down there. The nurse, out of curiosity, decided to find out for herself. She went down into the basement and filmed her experience. Her experience there was, however, pretty underwhelming, at least that's what she thought, until she reviewed the footage later. And it was then that she noticed it. A dark figure hid as soon as she saw it approaching her. The nurse said she was alone the entire time and didn't notice anything at the moment. Well, maybe that was a good thing, but it leaves us with a question that needs answering. What exactly was it that she saw? I just wanted to say apologies for everybody that's emailed us through for the past few weeks, and it's taken us a bit of time to actually get around to answering. It's just been a busy time here. I also wanted to say thank you very much to Peter in Australia. Now, his mom, Colleen, at the moment is fighting cancer. Our prayers go out to you, darling, and we really hope you get better. We're so happy that you've been watching our videos from your hospital bed, and we hope that at least we've been giving you a little bit of a break from what you've been going through. Take it easy. Next, we have a very unsettling photograph that was taken by a family while sitting casually in their living room. In the image, 2 children are seated on the floor and 2 women are on the couch just behind them, posing naturally, well, for what should have seemed like a simple family photograph. But there's something else in the picture. Right between the 2 women on the couch, there appears to be a third figure, or at least some kind of strange formation that wasn't supposed to be there. It's not a person, but rather a tubular, smoky-looking shape that was white and hazy, resting in a position that looks almost like it's sitting right there on the couch. At first you might think it's just a camera glitch or a lens flare, but take a closer look. The shape doesn't stretch like a reflection or have the markings of a motion blur. It seems solid enough to have form, but translucent, almost like a mass of smoke, and it doesn't look like any camera era we are familiar with. Some believe it could be a spirit or apparition, possibly a deceased family member. Others think it could be an energy anomaly, the kind often reported in paranormal investigations. Skeptics, however, argue it might just be a trick of lighting or a technical glitch, but even they admit that it's an odd one. Whatever it is, it doesn't fit with the rest of the image. The lighting, the seating, and the composition all make this strange shape stand out as something that was not supposed to be there. So what do you think it is? The world is getting weirder and weirder by the day. A woman shared a disturbing story online after a terrifying encounter involving her young daughter. One day, she rushed her daughter into the apartment, trying to escape from a man who had been following them. He managed to enter their apartment complex, but there was something off about him. He didn't walk normally. He jerked like his body wasn't under his control. Her Ring camera caught him lingering right by her door. She shouted from inside that she'd called the police, and eventually the man walked away. But when she posted the footage online, people in the comments noticed something else. In the background, another apartment door just across the hall slowly creaked open on its own. It didn't swing wide or slam. It moved eerily, just a few inches, revealing complete darkness inside. The man seemed to notice it, but instead of going in, he walked away. Viewers urged the woman to investigate, so she contacted building maintenance and they opened the mysterious apartment, and what they found was deeply unsettling. The unit was empty with no signs of anyone living there, except for one. This pile of children's shoes was placed in the middle of the room, and among them was a pair of boots that belonged to her daughter. This horrified her. So, understandably, after that, she installed another Ring camera, this time pointed directly at the mysterious doorway. Not long after, the camera caught something even more chilling. A neighbor stepped out of their room about to walk through the hallway, but suddenly froze. Then they backed away and looked visibly startled. At that exact moment, the pair of children's boots near the strange apartment door moved by themselves. People initially suspected a child trafficker or a disturbed squatter, but after this latest footage, many believe it could be something far worse, perhaps not even human. Something collecting children's belongings as a form of spiritual claim? Maybe. Some even think the shoes are a mark, signaling which child is next. The woman eventually took the video down from her account, and now no one knows what happened to her or her kid, or whether they're okay.
Oh, Lord. What is that? Y'all. What the hell is going on? Y'all see all these little kids? She can't put kids' shoes up in there. What the? So how did? So hold on, because no, this other day the door came open when I was in here. So if the door came open, like no, I'm sorry, I'm not.
A homeowner recently retrieved some late-night surveillance footage from a camera facing the street outside their house, and what they discovered left them completely stunned. The clip begins with what looks like nothing unusual, just a man walking alone at night with a flashlight in hand, turning the corner of a building in a quiet neighborhood. But it's what follows next that has people talking. Just moments after he disappears around the corner, another figure appears, and this one does not look human. It looks like the faint apparition of a child dressed in a flowing white robe or gown. The figure glides across the screen in an eerily smooth motion, and what's most unsettling is how it doesn't have the weight or presence of a solid human being. People who've seen the footage are torn. Some believe this could be a black-eyed child. Others think it could be a wandering spirit, possibly a child who once lived or passed in the area. But skeptics say it's a hoax. Still, well, there's something about the way this figure moves and appears out of nowhere that makes it hard to brush it off as a hoax, so, well, what are we really dealing with here? Now, everyone seems to be talking about Baba Vanga again, and it's all because of a chilling set of predictions she allegedly made about 2025. We mentioned some of them the last time, but, well, let's take a closer look at a few more that are making the rounds now. One of her most striking predictions is that the population of Europe will drastically decline. She didn't say how exactly that would happen, whether through war, disease, or something else. Well, nobody knows, but it's gotten a lot of people thinking, especially with all the recent instability and economic downturns in the region. She also spoke of a spiritual shift in humanity. According to her, the 2020s would be a period where human consciousness begins to evolve, and, well, honestly, since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen people reevaluate their lives, spirituality, and purpose. There's been a huge rise in mindfulness, alternative beliefs, and people stepping away from traditional systems. Another eerie one is that the Earth would shift from its current orbit. Now, scientists, well, they say that's impossible, at least not without something catastrophic happening, but she was adamant about it. Could it be a metaphor for global change, or is it literal? She also predicted that a new source of energy would be discovered in space, considering the recent pushes towards space mining, nuclear fusion, and solar advancements beyond our planet. You never know, that one might not be so far-fetched. When it comes to the environment, she warned of severe climate disasters. Well, we don't need a prophet to tell us that's happening. From floods that swallowed entire cities to failing crops and rising temperatures, farmers, scientists, and everyday people are witnessing this firsthand. And then there's the AI takeover. Baba Vanga claimed artificial intelligence would eventually gain the upper hand over humanity. And with how quickly AI is advancing and robots are now capable of replacing jobs, writing stories, diagnosing diseases, and even developing other AIs, well, it's not too hard to imagine a future where machines dominate more than we ever expected. But the prediction that seems to have struck the biggest nerve is that China would become the world's leading superpower, overtaking the US from economic influence to political reach and global partnership. And it's already happening. Now, are all of these guaranteed to come true? Well, touch wood, we'd hope not. Baba Vanga's predictions are mysterious, often vague, and open to interpretation. Some people treat her words like scripture, others say it's all a coincidence, and some a myth. Looking at the world today, it seems we're slowly walking into the future she saw decades ago. And how do you explain that? This next footage was shared by a man who had just moved into a new house, and what he caught on his surveillance camera left him completely terrified. Just a few days after settling in, he decided to check his outdoor security footage, and that's when he saw something deeply unsettling. In the middle of the night, someone or something was standing completely still next to the swing in his backyard. The figure was dressed in what looked like a white robe that covered it from head to toe. What made it even more disturbing was the height. The swing set in the yard was about 6 feet tall, and whatever this thing was, it matched that height perfectly. Now, here's where it gets even stranger. The man said he has dogs in a home alarm system, yet neither the dogs barked nor the alarm went off. He heard absolutely nothing that night. It's one thing to see a person trespassing, but, well, it's another when the usual signs like noise, motion detection, and barking are completely absent. So, was this even a person at all? Some say it might have been a ghost, others think it could have been a paranormal entity or even extraterrestrial. Some even pointed out that the white robe resembled traditional descriptions of certain entities seen during sleep paralysis or in haunted places. The man has since installed more cameras and stronger lights, and who can blame him? But says, well, he hasn't caught anything else since. What do you think was standing by that swing? This is said to be the world's largest dog, named Titan. How apt is that? And honestly, when you see the footage, it's hard not to do a double take. The dog stands almost shoulder to shoulder with a full-grown man. Its head nearly matches his height, and it moves like a normal dog would, blinking, panting, and wagging its tail. Everything about it looks real. The texture of the fur, the weight in its steps, even the way the light reflects off its body. Ha! It's wild. But here's the thing. These days, everything looks real. With AI-generated videos, ultra-realistic filters, and deepfakes, it's getting nearly impossible to tell what's genuine and what's computer-crafted. Some viewers are convinced Titan is just a CGI creation or AI-enhanced footage, and others believe it's a genetically altered dog breed. And while there have been record-breaking dogs in the past, like Zeus, the Great Dane, reached over 7 feet tall when standing on its hind legs, Titan seems to be doing the same, but I don't find any record of it. But this video is the only one. So what's the verdict? A real-life giant dog or a very convincing illusion?
Whoa.
Wow.
The thing about this clip is that a friend of mine has got one of these great big, I don't know, Great Dane, shaggy, hairy dogs, and the thing, I'm 6'2". This thing, when it grabbed hold of me and put its paws on my shoulders, was 10 times bigger, head at least up to here. So, I don't think it's AI. Personally, I think this is real. A man was out on a solo night walk along the shores of a beach in Mexico when he captured this. It was a sound coming from the ocean. It sounds surreal and loud. He shared the recording online, and it's been creeping people out ever since. The audio captures a long, echoing wail that seems to come from somewhere deep beneath the water. It doesn't sound like waves or any kind of machine. It's more melodic, almost like a voice singing. Many people are wondering if it could be the song of a siren. In folklore, sirens are said to sing from the depths of the ocean, luring sailors toward danger, sometimes leading them to drown or crash their ships. Some believe their songs are meant to enchant and deceive, especially under the cover of night. But not everyone is convinced that this is something paranormal. Skeptics argue that the sound is more likely from a whale, possibly a humpback or a blue whale, which are known to produce long, low-frequency vocalizations that can travel for miles underwater and sometimes above the surface. But if you listen closely, there's something strange about this one. It feels intentional, like it's calling out. So do you think it's a whale or a siren? Next, we have this photograph of a woman standing with her back turned toward the camera, gently holding a baby in her arms. It's a sweet photo of a grandmother cradling her grandchild. But then there's this second photograph, just taken moments later. This time, she's turning to plan to kiss on the baby's forehead, yet when you look around them in this second image, something feels off. Suddenly, you can see strange orange glowing entities in the frame. They weren't there before, and it's not just a light flare or a camera glitch. These odd figures appear to have humanoid shapes, and some even look like faces or silhouettes. In the left corner, there seems to be a figure that vaguely resembles a person. Where did these entities come from? They weren't in the first image, and nothing in the room or lighting changed dramatically between the shots. It's as if they just manifested out of nowhere. Some speculate that this could be a camera malfunction, maybe some light refraction, but these explanations don't fully account for the defined face-like shapes or the strange figure in the corner. Others believe something more mysterious happened. Maybe a spiritual veil was briefly lifted, or a portal opened, allowing these entities to photobomb. What are your thoughts? How do I feel about this image? The portrait shows a man strangely skinny with an unnaturally long neck and a smile that doesn't quite feel right. There's something off about it. At first glance, it looks like just another stylized piece of art, but the longer you stare, the more unsettling it becomes. The eyes seem too empty, the grin too fixed. It's almost like the image is watching you back. A lot of people online have said it gives them the chills, and for good reason. Images like these often go viral because of their eerie, nightmare-like quality. It reminds some of the internet mythos surrounding cursed images that hide a darker story underneath. Some say it looks AI-generated, others think it might be inspired by horror art, or meant to be an uncanny representation of a human pushing that fine line between familiar and not quite right. There's also a chance it's part of some digital art project that's meant to provoke discomfort on purpose because, well, let's be real, you remember the things that disturb you. Have you seen it before somewhere else, or is this your first time coming across it? Once again, those so-called crazy conspiracists might be onto something because now science is catching up. A fascinating new theory has been proposed by physicist Melvin Vobson from the University of Portsmouth, and it might just blow your mind. He suggests that gravity itself could actually be a clue that the universe is functioning like a giant information processing system. According to Vobson, gravity isn't just a fundamental force. He believes it could be the byproduct of the universe running on data in the same way a computer operates on code. In his theory, everything in the universe from matter to energy, even space and time, is information at its core. The universe then might be governed more by information theory than traditional physics. He compares it to how a computer manages and processes data. The more complex the data, the more gravity it generates, so gravity could just be the effect of information being processed through space. It sounds wild, but Vobson and others are using physics and math to try and prove this theory, which makes us rethink what reality really is. So, what if our universe isn't just a space full of stars and planets, but a massive operating system? It's still theoretical, but if true, we might be living in a simulation after all. How does that make you feel? The family had gone out exploring a place known as Devil's Den. This spot is already surrounded by eerie stories. They were just there for an adventure, taking photos, but one picture taken by the mother turned into something they will never forget. It was a simple photo of a son. She was standing near some rocks, smiling and looking straight into the camera, but when she reviewed the image later, she noticed something strange. Over his shoulder, right beside him, was what looked like a white, smoke-like figure, and within the mist was what appeared to be a face. No one else was near the boy at the time. There was no campfire, no smoke, no fog. Some think it might be a spirit attached to the land. Others say Devil's Den has long been a hot spot for unexplained activity. Either way, the mother said she just didn't feel right after seeing the picture. Would you go exploring the Devil's Den after seeing this? When people die, there are a few common ways their bodies are laid to rest, which are burial and cremation. But have you heard of a process called alkaline hydrolysis? It's also known as water cremation, and here's how it works. The body is placed in a pressurized tank filled with a mix of water and a strong alkaline solution, then heated to a very high temperature. Over the course of a few hours, the body essentially dissolves, leaving behind only the bones, which are then dried, crushed, and returned to the family, just like ashes from a fire cremation. But here's the part that just doesn't sit well. The liquid remains are poured down the drain or disposed of through standard wastewater treatment systems. That's a human being reduced to liquid and flushed into our drains. Now, think about how often we hear about recycling wastewater, especially in cities dealing with water shortages. If we're not careful, it's not hard to imagine that processed water could be reused for agriculture, industry, or even drinking, and that's where a lot of people get uncomfortable. Sure, scientists say that water is safe and treated, but still liquefied humans in the water cycle? Yeah, that's a thought that's hard to shake. So how far is too far in the name of sustainability? You know, people use human waste on vegetable patches and stuff in order to be able to, grow vegetables, so that's just manure. What the hell's a whole human? Dolls have never been good news in the paranormal community, especially not Annabelle, the infamous doll featured in the Conjuring movies. While the version in the films looks like a creepy porcelain figure, the real Annabelle is actually a Raggedy Ann doll said to be haunted by a malevolent spirit. She's locked away in a glass case at the Warren Occult Museum for a reason. A man named Dan Rivera, known for working with haunted objects, has been touring with the real Annabelle doll, carefully transporting it for educational and paranormal events. Dan was extremely cautious, often performing protective rituals and prayers before even touching the doll. Then, in early July, reports emerged that Annabelle had gone missing during one of the tours. People online were panicking about what it meant to have the haunted doll unaccounted for. Thankfully, Dan later confirmed that she had been found, but that relief did not last long. On July the 13th, Dan Rivera was found dead in his hotel room. There were no signs of forced entry, struggle, and according to authorities, no foul play. But that hasn't stopped the speculation. Many in the paranormal world believe Annabelle had something to do with it. After all, there's a long-standing warning from the Warrens themselves. Never mock, challenge, or underestimate the power of the doll. Some believe just being around her too long can lead to dark consequences. So was Dan's death just an eerie coincidence? Or was it a grim warning not to disturb what should never be touched? A woman was trying to snap a quick picture of a staircase, but when she looked back at the photograph, she noticed something that made her skin crawl. That part way up the stairs was what looked like a pair of distorted legs. Not a full person, just legs bent at unnatural angles. Some people think it's a camera glitch or a double exposure, others say it could be paranormal. There are old stories about staircases being transitional zones where strange things can appear or slip through. Whatever it is, it's definitely unsettling. A man standing by the ocean at night in Maui, Hawaii, captured something incredibly strange. Just beneath the surface of the water, he noticed a greenish glow. It wasn't a reflection, and it wasn't coming from any nearby lights. The glow seemed to be coming from under the water, like something alive was down there. But here's where it gets weird. He spotted the glow right after an emergency tsunami alert was issued in the area. The timing was too eerie to ignore. Locals were already on edge, bracing for the incoming wave, and then this strange glowing light appeared just off the shore. The man said it remained visible and kept shifting around for nearly 30 minutes as if it were watching or waiting. People online have come up with a bunch of theories about it. Some say it could have been bioluminescent plankton or rare underwater volcanic activity, but others think it might be something far more mysterious. Some believe it could have been a craft or entity beneath the ocean, which might explain the consistent glow in the odd movement. There's even a theory that these things are drawn to natural disasters, either to observe or even cause them. So, was it just nature acting strange, or was it a sign of something hiding under the sea, especially with how remote and mystical the waters around Hawaii are said to be? A woman was enjoying a quiet day at the pool with her son, who had just finished taking a dip in the water. As he got out, she snapped a quick photograph of him. But when she later looked at the picture, she was stunned by what she saw. Behind her son, partially submerged in the pool, was a head and a pair of glowing eyes that were definitely not supposed to be there. According to her, her son was completely alone in the pool at the time, and yet this figure appears just behind him. Some have said it could be a reflection or maybe a pool toy, but the shape of the head and the position of the eyes make it look disturbingly humanoid. Some viewers believe it might be a water spirit or even a demonic entity caught on camera. Others say it reminds them of tales of shadow swimmers. They are entities said to live in bodies of water and only reveal themselves in the rarest of moments. Could this be one of them? From a bird's eye view over the ocean, we see a massive creature moving just beneath the surface of the water. It's got a scaly texture across what looks like a giant back slicing through the waves. It's long, dark, and incredibly big, even too big to be any whale or known marine animal. Some are already calling it a sea monster, comparing it to the legends like the Kraken or Leviathan. Others think it could be some kind of prehistoric creature that's managed to survive in the deep. But before we all jump to conclusions, well, let's just take a step back. There's a high chance this video might not be real. We've seen how good AI-generated visuals and deepfakes have gotten. The movement could have been animated. The texture might have been borrowed from existing animal footage and stitched together. And without clear metadata or confirmation from credible sources, it's kind of hard to verify anything. Still, the footage is hauntingly convincing, and even if it's fake, why are we so fascinated with the idea of giant creatures beneath the sea? Is it because most of our oceans are still unexplored? A man had visited a port and taken a few photographs, but it wasn't until he got home and began reviewing the images that one particular shot made him stop in his tracks. In the photograph, near one of the polished stone walls, there appears to be a figure emerging out of the wall. It's vague, almost ghost-like, but the shape is distinct enough to make out a head and shoulders. He says there was no one there at the time, and others who've seen the image agree that it doesn't look like a shadow or reflection. It looks like something stepping out from the wall. So, well, what are we looking at here? Is it just a strange play of light and texture? Or could this be an apparition tied to the place or even some sort of dimensional entity? Some have even suggested it resembles a portal, or at least the moment of something passing through one. Whatever it is, it's unsettling. And one more reason to never assume your photographs are just snapshots, because sometimes they might be catching things your eyes miss. After self-driving cars and robots started to feel a bit old school, this might be the new trend. Take this latest creation by a retired mechanic. It's a tiny, narrow car that looks more like a moving pencil case than a vehicle. It's so slim it can barely take up half a lane. Compared to a regular car, this thing is shockingly thin and feels like it was designed for ants. It's cute, but definitely not practical if you were hoping to carpool. Then there's another bizarre invention from Thailand. This is a super low-riding car with no visible tires. They've named it the Banana Peel, and that name honestly fits. The car sits so close to the ground, you'd worry about it getting stuck on the speed bump. And again, it's strictly a one-seater. Both of these designs look more like art installations than real transportation. Sure, they're quirky, eye-catching, and possibly even eco-friendly, but they don't seem to be built for real-world use, unless, of course, the real world starts to shrink. We have another doll incident. Luckily, no casualties this time. A man owned a doll that he believed might be haunted, and the footage he shared is enough to give anyone the chills. In the first clip, you can see the doll's head slowly turning on its own, even though there's no one nearby. To make sure he wasn't imagining things, he set up a camera to monitor the doll overnight. And that's when things got even stranger. Sometime during the night, an object falls off a small table where the doll is sitting. Now, the doll was positioned on an island in the room, and the object that fell was on a separate table with no one around. There's no draft, visible triggers, and no pets in sight. It's almost as if something invisible moved it, or the doll had something to do with it. Understandably shaken by what he captured, the man decided he couldn't keep the doll any longer, so he put it up for sale the very next day, saying he felt like the atmosphere in his home had changed since the doll arrived. Was this just an eerie coincidence, or something more sinister attached to the doll? When I was a kid, I'll tell you a story now. A friend of mine's mother used to have all these China dolls parked all the way up her staircase. And every time I came down in the morning, and I was nearly always the first one because I used to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that, there were two dolls that used to sit side by side halfway down the staircase, and their heads were always in a different place. So I hate dolls.
During his night shift, a park keeper was serenaded by these haunting sounds coming from the woods nearby. The eerie sounds resembled peculiar howls but carried a distinctively human quality. The gatekeeper, with years of experience in his role, attested that he had never encountered such unsettling sounds in all the years he'd worked there. Intrigued and determined to uncover the source, the park keeper ventured into the woods for an investigation. However, to his bewilderment, he returned empty-handed, unable to pinpoint the origins of the sounds. What do you think this could be? Could it be the nocturnal activities of an elusive creature, their cries echoing through the night? Or perhaps the veil between our world and the supernatural has briefly lifted, allowing us to hear the voices of ethereal entities? Some even entertain the idea of mischievous individuals, potentially dabbling in occult practices or playing elaborate pranks on the unsuspecting park keeper. What about you? What do you think of the whole thing? Personally, I think there's always a scientific explanation to everything. The next clip comes from a man who took a picture as he was exploring the woodlands close to his home. Unknown to him, he'd captured something that many have only dreamed of seeing, the legendary Bigfoot. If you pay attention to the image on your screen right now, you should see just in front of the woods stood an 8 to 9 feet tall creature. The creature has dark fur and is staring straight into the camera. You tell me that's not a Bigfoot. Yet, as with all things extraordinary, skepticism rears its head, with many doubters suggesting it to be nothing more than a hoax. Some stated it was a cleverly edited image, while others suggested it was perhaps a person concealed within a well-designed costume. But what do you say? Is this real, or do you think it's a hoax? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? I don't want Aaron sending a skinwalker after you. Now back to today's episode.
We often hear people talking about the idea that we might be living in a simulation where our world is just a complex programmed reality. We have even seen a lot of footage of the strange phenomenon called glitches in this so-called simulation, but there has never been concrete proof of this theory. However, some people believe they may have found it. In this footage, a group of individuals conducted an experiment. They projected a refracted ray of light onto a surface, and here where it gets strange. When someone took a dose of DMT, they began to see codes like a string of digits or symbols running across the surface. It was as if they were seeing the hidden programming behind our reality. Look at the people in the video trying it out and testifying to what they saw. For them, this experience seems to confirm the simulation theory. Does it though? What do you think? Let's talk about Uber. It's become a global transportation solution, convenient for those without cars and generally efficient. But an investigation into Uber revealed something that has raised a rather shady practice. According to this investigation, Uber charges more when your phone battery is low. Why? Well, the theory is that when your battery is about to die, you're more desperate and more likely to accept any price just to get a ride. This is quite the allegation, though I've never personally tested it. If true, it means the app is monitoring your phone's battery level, which raises an important question. How much of our personal information are apps accessing without us even realizing it? If Uber can detect your battery life, what other apps might be collecting data without our knowledge? Have you noticed this happening with Uber or any other apps? Can you share your experience? We need to get to the bottom of this.
This is a bird's eye view of the incident that took place in Miami quite recently. For those unfamiliar with the situation, a significant police presence enveloped the Bayside Marketplace Mall, sparking rumors of an extraterrestrial encounter. Some witnesses even claimed to have spotted a tall, unidentified figure in the vicinity, adding to the mystery surrounding the incident. Nevertheless, the Miami Police Department promptly dispelled the rumors, clarifying that the heightened police presence was in response to a disturbance caused by a group of teenagers setting off fireworks and engaging in looting. It was definitively stated that the situation had no connection to anything extraterrestrial. Despite the Miami Police Department's assertions, various footage that surfaced after the incident seems to suggest otherwise. In one such video captured from tall buildings in the vicinity, a colossal creature can be observed strolling past the police cars. The figure is unmistakable, raising questions about whether the authorities were attempting to conceal the presence of such a creature or if there's an explanation for the apparent discrepancy in accounts. You know how we've been asking you to send in your footage, and many of you have been hesitating. Well, this capture was sent in by a subscriber of the channel, and you and I are gonna help this person understand what they captured. Looking at the image, what do you see? Julius believes it could be a man in a costume exploring the outdoors, but then again, Julius is just a figment of my imagination. Whilst Aaron believes it could be either an otherworldly or extraterrestrial exploring our lands at night. Given the blurry nature of the capture, there's only so much we can do. But what do you also see when you look at it? Tell us in the comments section.
The Loch Ness Monster is a subject of great debate, with some people believing it's real and others thinking it's just a case of mistaken identity. But which of these two camps holds the truth? Well, take a look at our next clip. A deep-sea diver was swimming with a camera, filming her. Right behind her, a huge creature comes swimming by. It was none other than the Loch Ness Monster. From the clip we see not one, but two of these creatures, and I must add that the clip does look convincingly real. Julius, however, begs to differ. He argues that the human behavior exhibited in the clip isn't very realistic. He notes that the humans in the clip didn't even react or act surprised when the creature appeared. That to him alone is a red flag. Even if the creature was not scary, there would have been a display of shock or surprise, since seeing something like that in the deep blue sea is bound to make anyone jumpy no matter how experienced. I must say that his argument does make sense, but a part of me wants to believe this is real so bad that I'm willing to accept a third opinion that would side with me, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. So guys, what do you think, real or not? Let me know in the comments section. If you thought that was weird, wait till you see this next one. Yep. They look like they belong to a dragon. Don't ask me how I know that, well, they just do. The question now is, what is such a creature doing in such a place? I was getting ready to do a full expose on how dragons may be hiding in our forests until I took a second look at the clip. Those hands look like they belong to something rather enormous and huge. If they do, then holding on to such a branch should have caused it to break or at least sway due to its weight. But here's the case, the branch is barely affected. This brought me to a conclusion. Either that's a super branch or the clip is fake. Which do you think it is?
Speaking of aliens, this next image was taken on a trail camera at around 3:45 a.m. The camera was 1 to 1.5 miles off the road and on private property. In the image, we can see a man in a white top and trousers. He had in his hand a storage box. However, what captures attention and sparks intrigue is the peculiar appearance of the man's face. With many questions looming, theories began to fly out of the community. Some suggested it could simply be a man wearing a hat. Others thought it had to be otherworldly, and some also believed it was an extraterrestrial trying to blend in. Which of these do you think is most likely the situation? Share your thoughts in the comments section. I have much to say, but perhaps in the next episode. Until then, enjoy. Our next clip features a creature that was liberated from its icy confines. What the liberator expected to be a creature from the Ice Age turned out to be something that looks like the offspring of the Night King of Game of Thrones. The creature was blue and had a pair of human arms and legs. Its face resembled a baby, but its body looked like an adult creature. If we know anything about conspiracy theories and alien enthusiasts, it's that things like this make the hairs on their necks stand up. Naturally, once this image was posted online, many theories came from both camps. Some argued that it was a relic from an ancient civilization frozen in time and waiting to be on Earth, while others stated that we are looking at something of cosmic origin preserved in the icy embrace of the Earth. As the debate raged on, the skeptics and logical ones stated that this was nothing more than an elaborate hoax. They stated that this had to be photoshopped. Looking at the image, I get where they're coming from. But what if, just what if, this is truly real? Think about it. As much as we'd love to properly investigate this and bring you answers, I guess we can't. Have you ever been fascinated by jellyfish? I know I have, but not as much as I was when I saw this clip. Beautiful, isn't it? I must confess that when I saw this, I was very sure that it was some AI or digital creation, but after a bit of research and a little scolding from Julius for jumping to conclusions without a lot of research, I believe I finally figured out what this is. Behold, the deep-sea firework jellyfish, also known as Halitriphis masi. For those like me who aren't familiar with it, the deep-sea firework jellyfish is a stunning marine creature that inhabits the abyssal depths of the ocean, often found at depths exceeding 4,000 feet. This elusive species was first discovered in the eastern Pacific Ocean and has since captivated scientists and deep-sea explorers alike with its bioluminescent display. The jellyfish's name derives from its remarkable ability to emit a vibrant array of lights resembling a fireworks show. Its translucent body, adorned with radiant, pulsating colors, can burst into an intricate display of blues, purples, and gold when disturbed or during certain movements. This spectacular light show is thought to play a role in both predator deterrence and attracting prey in the perpetual darkness of its deep-sea habitat. Its tendencies are used both for locomotion and for capturing food, which primarily consists of smaller planktonic organisms. I'm tempted to add more information, such as how the jellyfish's unique light-emitting capabilities are controlled by specialized cells called photocytes, but I think this is enough. Don't you agree? As if that wasn't strange enough, at least for me, we've got this clip too. The clip starts off by showing a living area, then we see the dog move ahead to inspect something. After a few seconds, it retreats, and we don't know why. However, if you pay attention to the clip, you noticed a shadow attempting to hit the dog where it stood. Seeing it, the dog retreats to avoid getting hit. That's definitely not normal, right? This had myself and the whole team wondering what could have taken a shadow form and attempted to hit the dog for no reason. Some members of the team thought it was a shadow creature, while others thought it had to be a spirit.
We kept brainstorming and analyzing the clip, trying to nail down the definite cause of the dog's behavior. After an hour, Julius, our science whiz, walks in, looks at the clip, then says it's fake, and then goes out again. I chase after him to ask why, and he states that the shadow creature looks like a hand. Someone could have been standing off camera and creating the shadows to scare the dog. I must say I didn't like this explanation very much because it didn't make us look smart at all. I laughed at Julius and told him it was not possible, but came back to evaluate my life. Guys, take a look at the clip and let us know. Do you think Julius is right, or are we right to think there's an entity there? Standing by for your feedback.
Next up, we have today's bonus segment. Can you accurately tell me what the creature in this capture is? If you can, kindly do so in the comments section and start your comment with bonus footage. Don't forget to add one interesting fact about what you see, just to make sure we know what you're talking about. The most accurate comment with the most interesting fact wins a chance to be featured in our future videos. This is a chance you certainly cannot pass by. We can't wait to read your answers. A trail camera set up in a cornfield captured this pair of glowing orbs among the plants. These lights are so clear that it's hard to ignore. The owner of the image was so puzzled by this that he posted the picture with hopes of finding what this could be. Some say it could be headlights in the distance, but how's that even possible? The distance from the nearest road rules out the headlights theory. Others speculate that the orbs could be part of a global phenomenon that we've seen in various parts of the world. You know, the extraterrestrial kind. Then there's others who think they belong to otherworldly creatures crossing into our planes. The theories are endless, but the truth can be just one. What do you think it is?
A man was out for a walk when he began hearing eerie cries coming from the woods. Drawn to the sound, he followed it and found himself near a bridge spanning a river deep in the forest. Personally, I wouldn't have gone that far nor followed the voice in the first place. But he did though, and as he aimed his camera toward the water, he spotted a figure crouched in the river. The figure was difficult to make out because of the distance, but the unmistakable sight of a woman's hair and her bowed head could be seen. And she was sobbing, softly. This chilling scene brings to mind the famous Mexican legend of La Llorona. According to the story, La Llorona, known as the Weeping Woman, lost her children to drowning, and since then, she's often seen by rivers and other bodies of water endlessly crying out in grief. The legend says that if you hear her cries and approach out of sympathy, you might find yourself dragged into the water meeting the same tragic fate. Could this figure have really been La Llorona? Scientists are currently exploring the concept of using supersonic mass drivers to launch rockets into space. Imagine a futuristic system where, instead of traditional rocket engines firing up on the launch pad, the rocket is placed inside a long tube or rail. This tube, using advanced magnetic or mechanical forces, accelerates the rocket at supersonic speeds, pushing it out of the Earth's atmosphere much faster and more efficiently than conventional methods. Take a look at the illustration. With such a system, space travel could become much more sustainable and frequent, opening up new possibilities for exploration. The idea itself isn't entirely new. It draws from principles used in MacLeod trains or electromagnetic launchers, but on a much larger scale. If successfully developed, this could revolutionize how we access space, making trips to the moon, Mars, or even beyond more feasible than ever before.
Thing's kind of creepy. It's like a person's silhouette up in them clouds.
While overseeing mountain renovations during construction, a man unexpectedly spotted a figure standing atop the peak, seemingly serving as an unforeseen foreman. As he zoomed in, the realization of what he was witnessing dawned upon him. It wasn't just any mountain-dwelling creature, it was the legendary Bigfoot, standing tall and appearing rather grumpy. But why would Bigfoot be grumpy? Now, aware that Bigfoot typically inhabits mountainous regions, it became apparent that the construction crew had unwittingly chosen to give the creature's home a makeover without seeking permission. The creature's stance alone conveyed its clear displeasure with the ongoing construction work. It didn't take Bigfoot enthusiasts too long to figure this out, and when they did, they warned the construction workers, but no one took them seriously. Thankfully, no one got hurt because although grumpy, this Bigfoot had no interest in hurting any humans, just like many of the other Bigfoots we have seen around the world. Back in 2018, the US military found itself with puzzling footage of an object flying over a facility in Iraq. The object was nicknamed UAP by US intelligence. This peculiar object looked like a jellyfish, having a strange head-like feature with what looked like tentacles on it. It hovered across the facility, exhibiting color changes from white to black. Now, the experts chimed in with what their take on this celestial mystery could be. They suggested that the color-changing spectacle could be a response to temperature shifts as the object meanders through different locations. As pleasing as that may have sounded to their ears and that of their higher-ups, many were skeptical about the explanation. Despite the skepticism, many believed the military know more than they're letting on. Many thought it could be something alien, perhaps a scout drone from a reconnaissance mission beyond our solar system. Others thought this was nothing more than a mundane plastic bag or something similar stuck on a camera lens. Don't let me be the one to tell you which it could be. Having seen it with your own eyes, what do you think we're looking at? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section.
Remember the time traveler who said we'd succeed with time travel in 2028? Well, he might be right, or perhaps we're just beating the odds. Scientists have actually made a breakthrough in the field of time travel. Researchers from Cambridge University have reported using quantum entanglement to take a significant step toward this incredible achievement. They've illustrated that by entangling particles, they can reverse the flow of time, at least on a quantum level. Though they haven't fully completed the process yet, this discovery marks a major step in making time travel a reality. Could this be the start of a future where we unlock the mysteries of time itself? This clip comes all from Texas, where a man was driving and noticed something bizarre in the sky. It appeared to be a crack, almost like the sky itself had split open, with lights shining through it. At some point, the crack even starts to resemble a doorway. To get a clearer view of what we're dealing with, the footage was run through several filters, and now it's more obvious. That doesn't look normal at all. It's as if the sky was tearing apart, revealing something beyond our dimension. Many people who've seen the footage believe it could be a multi-dimensional portal opening up to something unknown. But what do you think? Is this really a glimpse into another realm? This next footage comes from Brooklyn, New York, and it's eerie to say the least. On top of a towering building, a dark, shadowy figure appears to be perched, watching over the city. It stayed there, motionless, for a few moments before suddenly taking off and disappearing into the night sky. This entity doesn't have a distinct shape, more like a vertical dark mass. It's unsettling to think about, as it raises questions about whether we are truly alone in this world. Could other unknown entities or creatures be sharing our space hidden just out of sight? The way it simply flew off, almost as if it had some purpose or mission, makes this even more mysterious. What could this be? A spirit? An unknown creature? Or something else entirely? I guess we will never really know. Train wheels are quite different from those on most vehicles, and there's a fascinating reason for it. To demonstrate this, a man created a miniature train track model to show how these unique wheels work. He began with a set of cylindrical wheels, which were smooth and had no taper. As he tested the model on the track, the wheels struggled to stay on course, often veering off the rails. Then he swapped out the cylindrical wheels for conical ones. This time, the model held firmly to the track, gliding smoothly without slipping off. The conical shape of train wheels is crucial because it allows them to stay balanced and centered on the tracks even at high speeds or in turns. By having a slightly tapered design, these wheels can self-correct when a train moves side to side. When a train shifts to one side, the wheel's conical profile causes the outer wheel to roll on a large diameter than the inner one, helping the train return to its central position. This remarkable engineering keeps real trains securely on their paths, demonstrating the effectiveness of this unique design. When I saw this, I was convinced that it had to be AI. I went through the comments and someone mentioned that it was a flutter frog, which was a rarely seen frog. Me, thinking that no one would lie on the internet, asked Julius about it, and he gave me a strong and very judgmental look. That got me to do my own research, and I realized it was a sarcastic statement. I settled on my AI stance and was about to be writing my script when Aaron walked in and disputed that fact. He mentions that it has to be a real clip, and the theories on how the frog could have had wings came out of his mouth. His first theory was that it was possible the clip was taken around the time the frog swallowed a bug. He thought that had to be an incredibly slim chance, though. His second theory, however, was that the uploader inserted the wings to the frog's side to create a viral video. While the first would have been interesting, the second is, sad and cruel. You guys have seen the clip. Which do you think is the most likely situation? If you have your own theory as well, please share. This footage shows a large, ring-shaped formation in the sky that looks like it's made of fire, though it's not literal flames. The fiery-colored ring was accompanied by thunderous sounds, creating an eerie and captivating scene. The most fascinating part is that this ring lingered in the sky for 3 days before mysteriously vanishing. Without knowing the exact location, it's hard to determine what this phenomenon could be. Some speculate it could be a rare atmospheric event, possibly involving a fire vortex or a solar halo with unusual weather conditions. Others think it's linked to something more mysterious or supernatural, given its dramatic appearance and thunderous sounds. Its combination of beauty and eeriness makes it hard to dismiss it as nothing. So what do you think it could be? A man set out to ski in a clearing after a heavy snowstorm. It was the perfect setting, fresh and pristine. But as he prepared to hit the slopes, something caught his eye in the wooded area across the field. There, partially hidden behind a tree, was the silhouette of what looked like a woman. Dark and motionless, the figure's body was visible, but the face was obscured by the tree. The strange part? The figure never moved. It simply stood there, watching. Or at least that's how it felt. Unnerved, the man decided to abandon his ski plans and head back home. Could it have been a shadow, a trick of the light, or something else entirely? In an isolated, snowy landscape, seeing something like that would send chills down anyone's spine. What do you think it could be? If you've been on this channel all year, you might be familiar with some strange orange orbs we shared that have been captured around the globe. Well, they return again in this next clip. Take a look. A home security camera captured something mysterious in a backyard that bordered a wooded area. In the footage, a bright orb appeared, floating slowly from the left side of the screen to the center. It hovered there for a while, almost as if observing the area, then calmly floated back to the left and disappeared from view. What could this be? Some might say it's a bug or a dust particle reflecting light, but its movement and brightness seem unusual. Others speculate that it could be a spirit orb, a phenomenon often associated with paranormal activity. The theories are endless, but one thing's certain: no one knows for sure what we are dealing with. Do you? Two men were outside their home one night, just hanging out. One was in front of the camera, singing, while the other was filming. As the camera rolled, the person behind it casually moved the shot from one side of the singer's face to the other. In the process of moving the camera, something unexpected appears. You can see a figure standing behind the man in front of the camera, hidden behind a short wall in the bushes. The figure is dark and appears to be wearing a black sweatshirt. What's even stranger is the fact that the face isn't visible at all from where it stood. Neither of the men noticed anyone there, not even the guy holding the camera. It wasn't until they went back inside and reviewed the footage that they realized something or someone was lurking in the background. They were both shocked to see this figure standing there, silently watching them. Who or what do you think that was? Skinwalkers are said to be one of the most dangerous cryptids to encounter. Two bikers were riding through the Russian mountains late at night when they suddenly came to a stop in front of a large rock. It wasn't long before they realized they were not alone. Climbing the rock were pale, human-like creatures with hollow dark eyes. When the bikers' torches shone on them, the creatures became frantic, scrambling to move out of the light. For a brief second, the skinwalkers appeared shocked, as if caught off guard by the headlights of the bicycle. And just like that, the footage ended. The entire ordeal was captured on a body cam attached to one of the bikes. The paranormal community is convinced we're dealing with skinwalkers, but what do you also think? A man accidentally spilt his drink on the tiled floor, but what happened next was completely unexpected. As the liquid seeped into the cracks between the tiles, tiny, red, wiggling things began to emerge. They looked like they wanted to crawl out from beneath the tiles. Intrigued, the man took a closer look, but as soon as he stepped on the tile, the tiny creatures vanished, slithering back behind the tiles. What could they be? Is there something living beneath the floor? A man was out for a nighttime walk when he noticed something strange in the sky. It was a large group of tiny white objects hovering and moving in unison. He started filming, puzzled by what he was seeing. At first glance, it looked like a flock of birds, but he soon realized that the objects didn't behave like any birds he'd ever seen before. Instead of flapping wings or scattering randomly, these white dots moved in a tight, coordinated formation, gliding smoothly across the sky. Many viewers speculate that this could be a new kind of UFO phenomenon. Typically, when people see UFOs, they report single objects or lights in different shapes like disks, orbs, or even triangular formations. But this is a swarm of small, light-like objects moving in harmony. That's something entirely different. What do you think they could be? Take a look at this footage and put yourself in this situation. You're running from someone and you come across a metal fence. In a desperate move, you free jump over the wall by boosting yourself using the fence. Now your chaser is on the other side of the fence and you think you have the upper hand. So what do? You stand there, staring at your chaser from the other side, feeling a sense of relief and teasing him a little. But then all of a sudden, he simply opens the door on the fence and steps through. The fence wasn't locked at all. What would your next move be in this situation? Would you say it's best that dinosaurs no longer exist? Considering what we know about them, humans might not exist for long if these massive creatures came out of extinction. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking when I came across this footage. In the video, we see a large creature lying lifeless on the ground. It has a huge tail, and as the camera gets closer, you realize that what we're looking at is a dragon. Take a look at the horns and the razor-sharp teeth in its slightly open mouth. What is puzzling is the presence of people in protective gear who are trying to touch the creature. Is this real footage of a mythical fire-breathing beast, or could it just be an elaborate art project or special effects? It's hard to say because I can't find any info on this anywhere, but let's hear your thoughts. Death can be incredibly painful, knowing we won't see or hear from the people we love ever again. But what if there was a way to still connect with them?
Donna, please hold tight.
Hey, Justin, I'm so very glad you called me today.
I wanted to wish you a happy birthday and tell you I loved you.
Baby, I love you too.
Meet Justin Harrison, a tech entrepreneur who lost his mother in 2022. In his grief, he developed an AI that recreates her voice and personality, allowing him to talk to her almost as if it's on a phone call. With her unique voice, mannerisms, and even personal quirks captured, this AI brings a piece of her back to his life. While it doesn't replace having her there physically, it offers him a sense of comfort. Being able to hear someone even after they're gone is comforting. Would you try something like this?
Sona, please hold tight.
Hey, Justin, I'm so very glad you called me today.
I wanted to wish you a happy birthday and tell you I loved you.
Baby, I love you too.
We're not alone. We are not alone in this universe, and it is a simple fact, and the U.S. government has been aware of that fact now for decades.
It's not exactly a new topic that the government might know a lot more about alien life than it's letting on. Some believe they'd be making contact or have technology from extraterrestrial sources. Take a look at what this whistleblower has to say. This man claims that the US possesses alien technology and perhaps even the beings themselves, suggesting they might be experimenting with them or studying their advanced knowledge. And he's not the first to make such allegations. Over the years, countless whistleblowers have stepped forward insisting there's a hidden truth about extraterrestrials that the government isn't sharing with the public. Could this be real evidence of government secrecy on alien life, or are these stories simply the stuff of conspiracy?
We're not alone. We are not alone in this universe, and it is a simple fact, and the U.S. government has been aware of that fact now for decades.
A horse breeder went to the stables one morning and stumbled upon a surprising sight. The horse was standing on its hind legs with its front limbs on the wall in front of it. Now that's unusual horse behavior. Not knowing what it meant and not wanting to ask Julius, I went through the comments from the original post, and most people suggested that the horse was trying to break free from the stable. It seemed tired of the confinement, possibly feeling trapped or stressed in its environment. Others offered a different perspective, saying it was just stretching. Horses sometimes engage in behaviors that might look strange to us but are quite normal for them. Stretching could be a way for a horse to relieve muscle tension or simply a playful act. Another possibility is that the horse is displaying signs of boredom or frustration. Horses, like many animals, need mental and physical stimulation. If they're confined for too long without enough exercise or interaction, they might resort to unusual behaviors. But what do you think this could be? Could it be a sign of distress, curiosity, or just a simple stretch? There's also the possibility of wanting to mate, but that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? My money is definitely on a prison break. A man wandering through the woods encountered something that left him both startled and intrigued. Ahead of him, a small creature was crawling uphill. At first, it walked on two legs with a humanoid gait, but soon dropped to all fours and quickly vanished from sight. The creature's appearance and behavior have sparked a whirlwind of questions. It bore a striking resemblance to the goblins of folklore, small, humanoid, and elusive. The way it moved, with a blend of agility and stealth, the creature looks like a goblin. Goblins are often depicted as mischievous and elusive, dwelling in hidden places and rarely seen by humans. The sudden appearance and quick disappearance of this elusive creature align with such folklore. Now the big question is this really real, or is someone just messing with us using CGI? I'll let you guys decide that.
En el pilastrón. ¿Qué? En el pilastrón. En el pilastrón está él, güey.
Ay, cabrón. Ahí está.
No mames, güey. Lo estoy viendo, güey.
Bestia.
¿Es él? No, no, ¿o es sombra, güey? Se está moviendo, güey.
Es una sombra. Es él, güey.
¡Ah, la verga, güey! No mames.
Recently, this particular video has been going everywhere. I have watched it several times and have my theories. Since it's been a while since I asked you guys for your opinion on a post, let's do this one together. I won't be providing this commentary, but I would very much love to hear what you think about it. What do you see? Why do you see it? And what do you think it could mean? Let's get creative in the comments section.
Viendo, güey.
Bestia.
¿Es él?
No lo
¿O
veo.
es sombra, güey? Se está moviendo, se está moviendo, se está moviendo, güey.
Es una sombra, es una sombra. Es él, güey.
¡Ah, la verga, güey! ¡No mames! ¡Ah!
Literally right behind
You
us
guys.
now. He's right by that mailbox and he's not there.
He's not there and the truck is not there. What the What the He's right there.
A woman was parked in a lot, glancing back to check her surroundings when she noticed a man walking toward a car with a red truck behind him. But when she looked at a car's rear camera screen, there was nothing there. No man, no truck, just an empty path. What could this be? A glitch in the camera feed, or could it be something stranger, like a peek into a parallel universe overlapping ours for a moment?
Literally right behind
You
us
guys.
now. He's right by that mailbox and he's not there.
He's not there and the truck is not there. What the What the He's right there.
A woman had set up a motion sensor camera in her house, pointing toward the front door for security reasons, of course. One day, while she was in another room, the motion sensor kept going off, alerting her multiple times that there was someone in the room. The strange thing was, no one had walked into the house, and she was completely alone. Naturally, it offset her a little, and she decided to check the footage. What she saw once she did was rather unsettling. Pay attention to the clip on your screen right now, else you might miss it. Did you see that? Not sure how to describe it, but there are some translucent figures moving in the camera frame. A number of paranormal enthusiasts took this as a sign that something divine was happening. Some brushed it off, saying it's just dust particles floating around the camera lens. Others disputed this, however, and stated that these shapes don't quite behave like dust or smoke. The woman believes these could be entities. If that's the case, what could they be? Some speculate they might be spirits or residual energy, maybe even ghosts from the house's past. Others suggest they could be something less understood, like interdimensional beings or energy manifestations. What do you also think? A couple had set up a camera in their bedroom to monitor their baby. One night, while the man was fast asleep on the bed across from her, the woman woke up to feed the baby who was lying on the couch nearby. As she sat there feeding the baby, something strange happened. An orb appeared beside her, floating upwards. A moment later, a dark entity materialized on the side of the bed where her husband lay. The shadowy figure stood over the bed and slowly began walking toward her. You can see in the footage that, for a brief moment, the woman uses the baby's cloth to cover her face, almost as if sensing something is off. She later removed the cloth, unaware of what had transpired. The next day, when reviewing the footage, the couple was shocked to see this dark figure. The woman admitted that she felt uneasy during that moment, which is why she covered her face. She was spooked by the darkness and felt a sense of fear. Now she understands why an entity has been in the room with her that night, one she hadn't seen but instinctively felt. What do you make of this? Yeah, that did happen. Sidewalks are meant to be a safe space, offering pedestrians a break from the dangers of the road. But what happens when even the ground beneath your feet becomes unpredictable? This shocking footage comes from security cameras in Peru. A woman was walking along an ordinary sidewalk when suddenly the ground beneath her erupted in a powerful explosion.
But what could have caused such an unexpected and dangerous event? Well, investigators later discovered that the explosion was caused by electrical connections buried beneath the concrete. According to them, over time, faulty wiring or pressure buildup had likely caused an electrical malfunction which triggered the blast. Unfortunately, the woman just happened to walk over that spot at the exact moment the explosion occurred. Talk about bad luck. I don't know about you, but this does make me feel a little unsafe out there. As scary as technology and AI advancement can sometimes be, there are also incredibly innovative gadgets being developed to transform lives for the better. Take this, for example. In the footage, a man in a wheelchair is seen wearing an impressive device. It attaches around his waist, extends along the sides of his legs, and connects to his feet like high-tech shoes. It's a bit bulky, but watch this. He stands up and starts walking. This wearable walking robot is designed to help people with disabilities regain mobility. It's incredible how technology like this is shaping a brighter future. A passerby noticed something truly bizarre moving among the clouds. It was a tall, humanoid figure formed from the clouds themselves gliding across the sky. This figure was much faster compared to the surrounding clouds. It also appeared to be holding a stick-like object in its hands, leading the way as it moved. We've all seen unusual shapes in clouds before, but this one feels different, doesn't it? It wasn't just a fleeting shape. This was a distinct, fast-moving figure with form and motion. Could it be a trick of the light or something more mysterious at work? Alien talk has been a hot topic for years, and it feels like official confirmation of extraterrestrial life is long overdue. However, during an interview, Elon Musk stated that there has been no concrete proof of alien life despite all the tech he has put into space, including satellites and rockets through SpaceX. If someone with that much access to space technology hasn't found any aliens, does that mean they don't exist? Well, some seem to think so. But China, on the other hand, appears to be on a different track. Recently, there's been talk about China using the 500-meter aperture spherical telescope, or FAST for short, the world's largest radio telescope, to seek out extraterrestrial signals. They seem determined to be the first to acknowledge the possible existence of aliens officially and be actively seeking them out. Interestingly, it's alleged that China may already have detected signals from an alien civilization and is keeping it under wraps to ensure they announce the discovery before anyone else, especially the US. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg is also rumored to be involved in initiatives to find alien life and may already know the truth. Some speculate that high-profile figures like him and others may be holding back information from the public for reasons unknown. But with China allegedly on the verge of making a formal announcement, it seems like the mystery surrounding extraterrestrial life may soon unravel and the world might finally get the confirmation it's been waiting for. So would China make history as the first to declare that we're not alone in the universe? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
A man had set out one night outside on one side of the road that was filled with a lot of people on both sides of the road, mostly men. It seems something is going on because the place is noisy. As he was panning his camera across the bustling road, just as he does, two large trucks drive by side. One has a massive container while the other hauls an unknown load. But as these trucks pass, something incredibly strange happens. From between the two trucks, a man suddenly appears. It's as if he materializes out of thin air right there in the narrow space where no one could realistically fit, not even a child. The road is far too narrow for someone to stand there safely, especially with two trucks passing by so closely. Yet, there he is. Witnesses who saw the footage were baffled. Some believe this could be the sighting of a ghost. Others think it might be something even stranger, like a glitch in the Matrix. What do you think?
At first I was confused about what I was seeing, and I just started looking at it, trying to figure out if it was dust or a bug or what have you. And it just started looking more and more like a hand.
A woman had put her baby down to sleep in his crib, keeping a monitor on to check on him. She wasn't asleep yet herself and kept glancing at the screen to make sure he was all right. That's when she noticed something unusual. There was a shiny orb right above the baby's head. As he turned his head to the other side, the orb moved with him. But what was strange was that it seemed to change shape, forming something that almost looked like a ghostly hand hovering above him. Seeing this, she wasn't as surprised as one might think. Her husband had passed away when their baby was just 4 months old, never having the chance to meet his son as he was very sick and in the hospital. She believed this could be her husband making a gentle visit to their baby boy, watching over him from beyond. What do you think? Could this orb really be her late husband's spirit, or is there another explanation?
At first I was confused about what I was seeing, and I just started looking at it, trying to figure out if it was dust or a bug or what have you. And it just started looking more and more like a hand.
Now let's switch to some news from America.
America's largest city is bracing for an invasion of unwanted 8-legged visitors this summer. Look at these guys. They're large yellow and black critters. They're called Jaro spiders. They're originally from Asia, but since 2010, they've been spotted in nearly a dozen states between Florida and Ohio.
Meet the Jaro spider, an 8-legged web weaver that is said to be invading the East Coast. These spiders have impressive 4-inch legs and are known to be venomous. Originally native to Asia, they seem to have traveled all the way to America by air or human activities, but I prefer the air. And yes, you heard that right. Spiders flying in the air. These guys are actually capable of flight, and they achieve this by releasing silk strands into the air, allowing them to be carried by the wind. While they are indeed venomous, it's important to note that their venom is not considered dangerous to humans. Still, the idea of flying spiders is enough to give anyone the creeps. So if you're in America and gearing up for a hot summer in your bikinis and shorts, watch out for these guys. They might just drop in unannounced. In the dead of night, a man was jolted awake by a persistent knocking on his front door. Groggy and curious, he decided to investigate. As he cautiously opened the door, he was met with a terrifying sight that would haunt anyone's dreams. Reaching toward him was a slender, deathly figure. The creature, standing at an unnerving height of about 8 feet, had skin that appeared dry and lifeless. Its face was a nightmare come to life. Where its eyes should have been were only hollow voids, adding to its ghastly appearance. Reacting quickly, the man slammed the door shut, his heart racing. Thankfully, his house was equipped with a burglar-proof door, providing a barrier that this horrifying entity could not breach. The man's quick thinking and the sturdy door were his saving grace that night. But what was this creature? I guess that's a question we may never really have answered. A farmer captured footage of this strange creature lurking around his farm. This thing has 4 long, almost unnatural-looking limbs, little to no hair, and a snout that doesn't resemble any common herbivore. But here's where things get even stranger. The farmer had been losing livestock for weeks. Every morning he would check on them only to find that something had eaten them, yet he never caught the culprit until now. When the footage was posted, one name immediately came to mind: the chupacabra. This cryptid is said to drain the blood of livestock, and looking at this creature, it fits the description eerily well. It doesn't seem to resemble any known forest animal. However, not everyone is convinced. Some argue that this could simply be a wild animal suffering from disease, possibly mange. If you picture it covered in fur, the theory makes sense. In fact, when you add fur, you really see the possibility of it being a maned wolf. For those unfamiliar with them, the maned wolf is a unique canid native to South America, known for its long legs and reddish fur, which help it navigate tall grasslands. Despite its name, it's neither a wolf nor a fox, but a distinct species with a solitary lifestyle and an omnivorous diet that includes fruit, small animals, and insects. The thing, however, is that maned wolves generally do not prey on livestock, as their diet is mainly omnivorous, consisting of fruits, especially the wolf apple, small mammals, birds, and insects. In rare cases, however, they may take small poultry if other food sources are scarce. But is that really all it is, or did this farmer just catch a chupacabra? A family was having dinner when someone decided to take a quick video, panning the camera around the room. Everything seemed normal until the camera landed outside. And there she was. Under a tree by the pool, hidden in the darkness, stood a ghostly-looking girl. She had long black hair and wore a white dress, just standing there watching the family. When the footage was posted online, no context was given. Who was she? Why was she there? Some believe it could be the spirit of a past family member silently watching over their loved ones. Others think it's something much darker. Have you ever heard of what the 9G force is? If not, let me explain after you take a look at these 2 clips. Watch this first footage. It's just a close-up shot of a man's face. As the test begins, you can see his face and skin start to sag, his cheeks pulling down unnaturally. His expression shifts, his eyes struggling to stay focused, and he seems on the verge of blacking out. Then, as soon as the machine is turned off, he regains his composure, breathing heavily but returning to normal. Now look at the second clip. The exact same thing happens to another man. His face contorts under immense pressure, and his features are almost unrecognizable for a few seconds. Again, once the machine stops, he snaps back to reality, visibly shaken but alive. What you're watching is a 9G force pilot test. It's a brutal experience where the human body is subjected to a force 9 times the weight of gravity. For fighter jet pilots, this is a routine part of their training. At 9G force, the body weighs 9 times more than its usual weight. Imagine the immense pressure on the lungs, the blood draining from your brain, and the sheer fight to stay conscious. It's not just about physical endurance, it's about mental strength too. These tests stimulate the conditions that pilots face during extreme maneuvers in high-speed aircraft.
Legs tight, deep breath. You're on top, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. Drop the shoulders, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. Squeeze your legs, squeeze your butt. Hey, squeeze, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Are you there? How you doing? How you doing?
While the situation with the farmer was an isolated incident, this next clip from New South Jersey is not. Listen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118,
You hear that right. These sonic booms are not just isolated incidents in New Jersey alone. No, they've been heard in various parts of the world, and despite their growing incident rates, nobody can say for sure what's causing them. Many theories have been flying about, including the possibility of it being a secret government project or that aliens might be involved somehow. If you've heard these sounds where you live or have any idea of what could be causing them, please let us know in the comments section. A cute photograph of a boy and his grandma, right? Well, not exactly. This little boy had taken his mother's phone and was recording a video of himself. The camera was angled upward, capturing only his face from the nose up. On the side of the frame, another face appeared, but only partially visible, just a bit of a forehead and one eye, which for some reason looked hollow. When his mother saw the footage, she burst into tears. It really did look like the boy and her mother. So why was she crying? Well, the thing is, the boy's grandmother had recently passed away. That made this seemingly simple capture an emotional one. His grandma had been babysitter for years, always by his side. They couldn't help but compare the clip with previous photographs he had taken with her, and the resemblance was uncanny. Could this be his grandmother's spirit appearing for one last selfie before moving on? This picture was taken by a friend while they were out digging in the yard. It seemed like a normal photograph at first until they developed the film. That's when they noticed something chilling. A little child standing on the left. She was not supposed to be there. In fact, at the time the picture was taken, there was no child, only the woman was present. It was only after the photograph was developed that the child showed up. No one knows who this little girl is, and look closely. She has this whitish hue around her, almost like she doesn't belong in the photo. Skeptics believe this image was edited, but in the paranormal community, many think this could be the ghost of a little girl who was possibly buried there years ago or someone who once lived on the property. Anytime we come across genuine cases like this, the usual narrative is that the spirit belongs to someone who was trapped at the location after suffering a violent death. If that's true for this little girl, who knows what tragic fate might have led her to being stuck there. A group of friends decided to explore a haunted house and conduct a paranormal reading. They set up in the center of the dimly lit room with a camera rolling to capture everything. One of the friends, who was a medium, sat near a shelf stacked with old dusty items. As the group focused on their session, something strange happened. Behind the medium, a stick leaning against the shelf suddenly levitated, hovering briefly and then fell, landing squarely on the medium's head. The moment stunned everyone in the room. While no one saw what caused the stick to move, the incident was caught on camera, leaving the group and the viewers debating what might have happened. Could this be the work of a spirit trying to communicate, or maybe a powerful poltergeist making its presence known? Someone mentioned it could be reversed, but I doubt that. Anyway, let's hear your thoughts. And while you ponder about that, listen to this. Did you hear that? No? Just take another listen. I thought I was hearing a creature scream, but the farmer who recorded this thinks it was a man crying out for help. Not sure why he was working that late in the dimly lit area, but according to him, this was the first time he'd heard anything like this in all his years of farming in the area. It made his blood run cold and left him frozen for a few seconds before he started to move and even recorded a part of the encounter. While he insists he thinks it's a man crying out for help, everyone else thinks a large beast may be roaming the area. You've seen the clip, and you've heard the audio with your own ears. What do you think we are dealing with? If you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, you know it's not a pleasant experience. That's why it shouldn't surprise you that someone will go as far as place cameras in his room to try and understand the situation. The man in questioning had been experiencing sleep paralysis for a long time and couldn't explain it. Every time he told people about it, they either didn't take him seriously or simply just brushed it off. He felt there was more to it than what he was experiencing, so he decided to record himself while he slept. He set up a thermal camera by his bed and placed cameras all around the room. In the footage, you can see him lying in bed. Then, at a particular moment, something happens. On the camera, a strange humanoid entity climbs onto the bed and hovers over him, moving its hand closer to his neck. But in the real time, no one is in the room. That's not all. Looking closely, you'll notice tiny orbs floating all around the room. When he showed this to his family and friends, they were shocked by the whole thing. Most people who have experienced sleep paralysis say it feels like something is sitting on them and choking them, and seeing the entity's posture in the footage eerily matches that description. Plus, in the paranormal community, orbs are often seen as a sign of a spiritual presence. So did this man capture a paralysis demon? And if that's genuinely a sleep paralysis demon, well, you gotta wonder, why do they do this? There are plenty of stunt performers who pull off crazy tricks by the roadside, but this one is different. A man was seen doing a headstand on the pavement, but something was off. He wasn't swaying, adjusting, or even moving at all. He was perfectly still, almost like a mannequin standing on its head. But this wasn't a mannequin. This was a real person. How is this even possible? Is he just that good at balancing, or could this be a glitch? The idea of a shadow government or an elite group secretly controlling the world is not new. Conspiracy theories like this have been around for centuries, fueled by distrust in global leaders, mysterious events, and, let's be honest, the chaos we often see in the world. But recently, an interesting spin on this theory came to light during an interview involving Tucker Carlson. Carlson suggests that the Nephilim, the giants mentioned in the Bible, may be playing a role here. For those unfamiliar, the Nephilim are described in religious texts as giants born from the union of fallen angels and humans. According to some beliefs, while the giants were wiped out, their spirits remained on Earth. These spirits, it's said, could now be influencing world leaders, taking control of powerful figures to manipulate and destroy humanity from the top down. Now, let's be real. This theory is wild, but the strange thing is how many people resonate with it. Think about it. There's no shortage of suspicion when it comes to the motives of our leaders. Global crisis, unchecked greed, and decisions that seem to hurt ordinary people have led to some questioning if something darker is at play. Do I personally think world leaders are being possessed by Nephilim spirits? I'll admit it's a little out there, but I can see why people are drawn to this theory. It's a way to make sense of the madness happening in the world.
That whatever's going on is very deep.
Yeah.
I've spent my whole life around politicians and seen decisions get made, interviewed people who run things, and what's happening now is qualitatively different. So different that it's not in the same category at all.
No.
The man on your screen is Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's talking about the concept of Neuralink and similar technologies. For those of you unfamiliar with the concept, it's essentially connecting a computer directly to the human brain. I know, it sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's not. Elon Musk is already making headway with this technology. Do we need it, though? Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson thinks we may not need such invasive technology, and his argument carries weight. He emphasizes that we already have incredibly powerful portable computers in the form of our smartphones. These devices put the entire world's knowledge at our fingertips, accessible in seconds with a simple tap or voice command. In many ways, Tyson's perspective suggests that the practical utility of brain implants may not outweigh the ethical, medical, or societal concerns they bring. Smartphones already serve as an external extension to our brains, allowing us to store information, communicate, and access vast resources. That said, Neuralink does have the potential for transformative applications, particularly for individuals with disabilities or neurological disorders. It could enable groundbreaking treatments and possibilities. However, for the average person, Tyson's argument stands. We might not need chips in our brains when we already walk around with a powerful tool in our pockets. What do you think, though? Is this the leap to brain implants inevitable, or should we focus on refining what we already have?
There's this urge to put chips in our head, and I'm just saying, I can pull out my iPhone and get any information I want in seconds. Do I really need it in microseconds plugged into my head? I mean, without you cutting me open, I can get that same information. They're talking about connecting your brain to the internet. I'm already connected to the internet. It's in my hand. I'm good with that, okay? So back up.
What you're looking at is believed to be a mummified fairy. It's a small humanoid-looking creature that was discovered lying on the ground. Its body appears frail and dried out, with pointed ears that give it an otherworldly appearance. Unlike traditional depictions of fairies, this one lacks visible wings, but skeptics believe it might just be an elaborate hoax. What do you think? A woman was walking along the shore in Florida, enjoying a calm, peaceful time with nature, until she noticed something strange in the sand: footprints. At first, they looked normal, humanoid even, but then she took a closer look at the toes, and that's when things got weird. The toenails were all sharp and pointed, almost claw-like. But what stood out the most was the second toe. It was much longer than the others, giving the footprint an unnatural, almost inhuman appearance. Some believe this could be evidence of a humanoid creature lurking on the beach, but before we jump to conclusions, let's consider something else. Fake nails. These days, it's common for women to wear long acrylic nails, and these footprints could belong to someone with extremely long artificial toenails. But if that's the case, who would wear nails that long on their feet, oddly to the second toe? Well, it's very strange. That has left many wondering if this was just a fashion choice gone wrong, or if it was evidence that something unnatural had been walking this beach. What do you think? A family decided to conduct a paranormal investigation in their home. They recorded the entire experience using their computer's cameras, so the footage quality wasn't the best. At first, they didn't notice anything unusual during their session, but later, while reviewing the footage, something chilling came to light. They took a screenshot of the moment, and here's what they saw. Behind the pillar outside, through the glass window, a pale face in a black robe was staring directly into the room. The family was shocked. Whatever they were trying to find inside the house wasn't there. It was outside, watching them instead. This clip starts looking ordinary and normal. It's just a serene shot of the landscape. But then something appears in the sky. There, defying gravity, is a floating tree. Yes, a tree suspended in mid-air as though it was detached from the ground and hovering above the horizon. At first glance, it almost seems too strange to be real, but multiple replays confirm it. Something odd is happening. Naturally, once this was uploaded, it went viral, and going viral caused the internet to explode with theories. Some believe this is a glitch in the Matrix, whereas others suggest aliens have something to do with it. Not sure which route to go with on this one, but your opinions are greatly welcomed. A man shared some bizarre footage captured by his security camera on his property. This wasn't just any place. His home sits on a remote mountainous area of Brazil, far from city lights or passing cars. In the footage, two pairs of lights appear in the distance. Both sets were perfectly horizontal, each with two glowing orbs. They didn't flicker, they didn't change color, they simply floated. At first, they were far away, then they moved closer and moved out of the camera's view. The man was stunned. But skeptics have their own theories. Some believe these were just car headlights, except, according to the man, there are no roads nearby. Others suggest they could have been drones, but if so, who was controlling them in such a remote area? Questions, questions, questions. We all know that big cats are from the feline family like tigers, lions, panthers, and cheetahs, but here's something you might not have thought about. Cats are the only felines with slit pupils. Ever notice that? While big cats have round pupils, your house cat's eyes look more like those of a snake or a crocodile. But why? Slit pupils are usually found in reptiles like snakes and crocodiles, animals that are very different from felines. So how did this feature end up in cats? Now, let's go even deeper. Cats hiss just like snakes. They love hunting mice, which are also a favorite snack for snakes. In ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods and believed to be spiritually connected to the unseen world. This has led many to believe that there could be some connection between these cats and some sort of selective breeding practices from the ancient world. There are some who believe that they were genetically modified by ancient civilizations, but, well, that's not possible, right? Right? I asked Julius about it, and he did have an interesting take on the subject. According to him, house cats have slit pupils because they are ambush predators that hunt in low-light conditions and need precise control over the amount of light entering their eyes. Slit pupils can contract more dramatically than round ones, allowing for better vision in both bright and dim environments. Big cats, on the other hand, have round pupils because they're active predators that rely on speed and power rather than stealth. Round pupils provide better depth perception and focus, which are crucial for tracking and chasing down prey over long distances, especially in open environments. Simply put, there's no DNA modification done. That's Julius's take, though. What's yours? A woman dining at an eatery one night had an unsettling experience when she noticed something unusual outside the window. Intrigued and a little alarmed, she quickly snapped the photo on your screen. I know it looks ordinary, but if you focus on the right side of the image, you'll see a strange, pale figure lurking outside. It has a goblin-like appearance, hunched over almost as though it's deliberately keeping to the shadows. Its pale skin contrasts sharply with its dark surroundings, making it stand out. The woman insists she saw it moving, but what do you think? Could we be dealing with an actual cryptid? If so, what kind? While suggestions ranging from rake to skinwalker have been suggested, some individuals feel it's a hoax. What do you also see? A pendulum ride in Saudi Arabia recently broke into mid-ride, and although thankfully no one died, several people were seriously injured. These rides are meant to swing back and forth like a giant clock arm, giving riders that stomach-dropping thrill, but this time, the fun turned into a nightmare. Mid-swing, the ride snapped in half. Just imagine that moment is terrifying. Honestly, I'm already traumatized by all the amusement park accidents we've heard about over the years, from roller coasters derailing to rides getting stuck upside down for hours. There's no shortage of horror stories, and this incident only adds to the list. You couldn't pay me to get on one of those rides now. I don't care how exciting it looks or how many safety checks it's passed. Some of these machines just look like accidents waiting to happen, and for me, that pendulum ride might as well be a giant swinging death trap. No, thanks. but would you write one? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we will post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.